Chapters 1 through 17 of the Enchiridion. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information, or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Darren L. Slider, www.logoslibrary.org. The Enchiridion by St. Augustine. Translated by Professor J. F. Shaw. Chapter 1. I cannot express, my beloved son Laurentis, the delight with which I witness your progress in knowledge, and the earnest desire I have that you should be a wise man. Not one of those of whom it is said, Where is the wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the disputer of this world? Hath not God made foolish the wisdom of this world? But one of those of whom it is said, The multitude of the wise is the welfare of the world, and such as the apostle wishes those to become, whom he tells, I would have you wise unto that which is good, and simple concerning evil. Now just as no one can exist of himself, so no one can be wise of himself, but only by the enlightening influence of him of whom it is written, All wisdom cometh from the Lord. Chapter 2. The true wisdom of man is piety. You find this in the book of holy Job. For we read there what wisdom itself has said to man. Behold, the fear of the Lord, pietas, that is wisdom. If you ask further what is meant in that place by pietas, the Greek calls it more definitely theosebeia, that is, the worship of God. The Greeks sometimes call piety eusebeia, which signifies right worship, though this of course refers specially to the worship of God. But when we are defining in what man's true wisdom consists, the most convenient word to use is that which distinctly expresses the fear of God. And can you, who are anxious that I should treat of great matters in few words, wish for a briefer form of expression? Or perhaps you are anxious that this expression should itself be briefly explained, and that I should unfold in a short discourse the proper mode of worshipping God. Chapter 3. Now if I should answer that God is to be worshipped with faith, hope, and love, you will at once say that this answer is too brief, and will ask me briefly to unfold the objects of each of these three graces, what we are to believe, what we are to hope for, and what we are to love. And when I have done this, you will have an answer to all the questions you asked in your letter. If you have kept a copy of your letter, you can easily turn it up and read it over again. If you have not, you will have no difficulty in recalling it when I refresh your memory. Chapter 4. You are anxious, you say, that I should write a sort of handbook for you, which you might always keep beside you, containing answers to the questions you put. What ought to be man's chief end in life? What he ought, in view of the various heresies, chiefly to avoid? To what extent religion is supported by reason? What there is in reason that lends no support to faith when faith stands alone? What is the starting point, what the goal of religion? What is the sum of the whole body of doctrine? What is the sure and proper foundation of the Catholic faith? Now, undoubtedly, you will know the answers to all these questions if you know thoroughly the proper objects of faith, hope, and love. For these must be the chief, nay, the exclusive objects of pursuit in religion. He who speaks against these is either a total stranger to the name of Christ, or is a heretic. These are to be defended by reason, which must have its starting point either in the bodily senses or in the intuitions of the mind. And what we have neither had experience of through our bodily senses, nor have been able to reach through the intellect, must undoubtedly be believed in the testimony of those witnesses by whom the Scriptures, justly called divine, were written, and who by divine assistance were enabled, either through bodily sense or intellectual perception, to see or to foresee the things in question. Chapter 5. Moreover, when the mind has been imbued with the first elements of that faith which worketh by love, it endeavours by purity of life to attain unto sight, where the pure and perfect in heart know that unspeakable beauty, the full vision of which is supreme happiness. Here surely is an answer to your question as to what is the starting point, and what the goal. We begin in faith, and are made perfect by sight. This also is the sum of the whole body of doctrine. But the sure and proper foundation of the Catholic faith is Christ. For
Sample complete. Ready to continue?